Hello and welcome, Zoran. It's really great to have you here at DigiHealth 22, which is co-located at the Data Science Conference Europe. So you're currently a professor and chair at the Department of Biostatistics, Robert Stempe College of Public Health and Social Work at the Florida International University, Miami. And you're also director of the Center for Statistical Consulting at FIU. So could you tell us a bit about your career, your development path, and why you decided to be in research?
Well, I always enjoyed computing. Even when I was a child, I grew up in Zagreb, and I always liked computers and programming. And I attended what is now 15th Gymnasium. At the time, it was called MIOC, mathematical school. And I kind of made my mind early that I was going to go into something, mathematically or computationally oriented. I completed my undergraduate and graduate work in the United States. I studied computer science and math. I thought I was going to be a programmer, software developer, but then I took some statistics courses and I decided to pursue biostatistics. I think biostatistics combines computing and mathematics and statistics. And what's most interesting about it is that we can apply to solve real problems. In our business, it's public health or medicine or other, biological disciplines, but the methodology itself can be used in many other fields, finance, government, agriculture. So I really enjoyed that combination of methodology and computing and, real world solutions. So that's how I, kind of went into this business, and I got my doctorate's degree from University of Oklahoma, School of Public Health. I was in the Department of Biostatistics and Epidemiology. And then ever since then, for the last 20 years, I've been working as a faculty at University of Arkansas, then University of Tennessee, and now Florida International University School of Public Health for the past 5 years.
And we know that AI is the primary purpose of AI is to help people, but sometimes it can be abused, either intentionally or non-intentionally. But with a field like health, it really is focused on, it needs to be a focus there. So what prompted you to actually work with AI in health, to enter that field specifically?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't really say that I work with AI, even though, we obviously develop and use machine learning models and other, predictive modeling techniques and classification techniques. So, as statistical scientists, we like to, develop new methods in the absence of adequate, older methods, but also use and compare what's existing. So again, I think I enjoy trying to figure out, which factors contribute to the disease and disease prediction, and see if, we can correctly predict, certain outcomes, whether it's cancer or cardiovascular disease or medication compliance, using some of these statistical and mathematical methods, and then make recommendations of which interventions to use or what type of policy changes to make to improve those types of things. So, everything is statistically based, but at the end of the day, there are real world implications when it comes to, interventions and policy decisions.
And you touched on there some of the uses for AI currently, but what about the near future? Where do you see, and statistics as well, where do you see that field progressing in health science?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's wide open, and I think we'll see more developments and innovations. If we used models and statistics that we studied in graduate school 20 years ago, we'd be dinosaurs right now. Things have changed so much over time, and they're going to change exponentially more in the future. So we are, in a good place, but I think, things like imaging and natural language processing and, genomics and all of those areas in health will, see the revolution of methodology. So everything is becoming model-based, We are not really using simple techniques because we have computing power that we didn't have. We have algorithms that are good and getting better. And we have much more data that we can throw into those to, more precisely predict and see what's going to happen. So we are, getting there, but I think the future is wide open when it comes to, machine learning, AI, and computing in public health sciences and in medical sciences in general.
Quite an exciting future that as
Yes.
well. Going from technology to a bit more about your career, you also, apart from your academical work, you also worked on over 50 funded grants worth well over $100 million. So could you give us a taste of what kind of projects you're doing right now?
Yes, so in my career, I worked on a lot of projects that were focused on some of the main public health problems, such as tobacco, obesity, substance abuse, and chronic diseases. So I was mainly focused on chronic diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular diseases, renal problems. Now that I'm at Florida International University, some of our strengths are slightly different because where we are at. So I work more on infectious disease, primarily HIV, because that's a huge problem in South Florida. There's an aging population, so there's a issue of aging in health. There are a lot of mental health problems, such as Alzheimer's disease, which we don't really have any solutions for, but it's on a rise, even in a younger population. We deal with a lot of health disparities. Obviously, there is a ton of differences in health when it comes to different, racial or ethnic or socioeconomic groups. So we have a huge grant that we have just received from National Institute for Minority Health and Health Disparity to fight health disparities in some of these outcomes, both chronic and communicable diseases. So those are some of the fields that I have worked on that were funded over time, mainly by National Institutes of Health.
Thank you for that answer. And you are an academic partner for Data Science Conference,
Yes.
United States. Why do you think it's important for academia to support these types of high-tech conferences? And what was your biggest takeaway from Data Science Conference US and now Data Science Conference Europe?
That's a good question. I'm more used to conferences where there is a lot of academicians presenting, their research work. But, of course, it's very important to put together academia and industry, whether, it's, pharmaceutical industry or some of these other companies that are developing new technologies and new techniques. I mean, we are academia, so we do a lot of research. So it's important to know what's going on in a real world, okay, to focus on relevant research topics. We also educators, right? We are educating next generation of data and statistical scientists. So if we know what the industry needs, what tools they are using, and what skills they are looking for, then we can tailor our curriculum and topics that we are incorporating. And at FIU Biostatistics, that's exactly what we try to do. We try to give our students some traditional sound base with more contemporary topics in computing, genomics, data science, and other areas, because we know that that's what market demands at this point. And we know which skills are required, so we try to give them those up front, so then they're competitive when they obtain their master's degree or doctoral degree. They're competitive for these high-level positions in the field. And to answer your second questions, my takeaways from data science conference, both in Miami and here, obviously a huge success in Europe. Miami is still in growing phase, but the things that I learned from here that I don't really do on an everyday basis, some of these new machine learning and AI techniques and the real interesting topics that other people are tackling that I don't necessarily work with, in finance or world hunger or weather and environment, those types of things. It's really interesting to see what's being developed. Always learn something new. See the future projections. So it's a good learning experience, and then I can take that back and incorporate it either in my work or education.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed the conference so far, and thank you for this riveting interview. And I do hope to see you again next year as well.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I hope to be back at multiple conferences at multiple locations, because it's a really good event.
Thank you.
Welcome to Data Science Conference Europe. My name is Zoran Bursac. I'm a professor and chair of biostatistics at Florida International University. And let's change the world through data.